My wife screamed, "You're a useless man. Get out of my house," after her son swore I'd smashed his Xbox in anger. Later she texted demanding I replace it. Her son nearly cried when I showed them both the video of him breaking it himself, then told her, "Keep your liar. You just lost your husband." I, 38, male, was standing in my own living room when my wife screamed the words that ended our marriage. "You're a useless man. Get out of my house." Her son, Trevor, 14, stood behind her with tears streaming down his face. Fake tears. I'd learned that part later. He was sobbing about how I'd smashed his Xbox Series X in a fit of rage, how I'd come home angry from work and taken it out on his stuff, how he was terrified of me. Sarah, my wife of 3 years, believed every word without asking a single question. I didn't yell back. I didn't defend myself. I just stared at Trevor's performance, at Sarah's finger pointing toward the door, at the life I'd built crumbling in real time over a lie I couldn't prove in that moment. I left. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and I walked out of the house I'd been helping to pay for, the house Sarah loved to call my house whenever we argued. 6 hours later, she texted me, "You need to replace Trevor's Xbox. $550. I'm not asking. I sat in my hotel room, staring at that text, and something clicked into place. I had something they didn't know about. I met Sarah 3 years ago, 2 years after her divorce from Trevor's father. She was kind, funny, and exhausted from single parenting. Trevor was 11 then, quiet but polite. I thought I could be a stable presence in their lives. We got married after a year of dating. I moved into her house, the one she'd kept in the divorce. I paid half the mortgage, bought groceries, covered utilities, helped with Trevor's school costs. I thought we were building something together. But Sarah had one rule that never changed. Trevor came first. Always. No matter what. The first false accusation came 8 months into the marriage. Trevor claimed I'd eaten his entire Halloween candy stash while he was at school. Sarah was furious. I showed her my work calendar. I'd been in back-to-back meetings until 6 p.m., hadn't even been home. She apologized quietly, but never addressed it with Trevor. The second accusation, I'd lost his phone charger. He swore he'd left it on the kitchen counter, and now it was gone, and I must have thrown it away. We tore the house apart looking for it. 3 days later, I found it in his backpack. Sarah's response, "He probably just forgot. He's been stressed with school." The third, I'd scratched his bike. He came home crying, showed Sarah the deep scratch on the frame, said I'd done it because I was in a bad mood. The neighbor's kid admitted the next week that he'd accidentally hit it with a skateboard. Sarah never mentioned it again. I should have seen the pattern. Looking back from that hotel room, it was so obvious. Trevor lied. Sarah believed him. I had to prove my innocence. Every single time. And even when the truth came out, nothing changed. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just silence and a reset to the next accusation. The Xbox itself? I'd bought it 6 months ago. $550 from my credit card. Trevor wanted the Series X for his birthday, and Sarah was stretched thin financially. I set it up for him, showed him how the settings worked, even played a few games with him on weekends. Now I was sitting in a hotel room, displaced from my own home, being demanded to replace the thing I'd bought in the first place. Sarah's second text came through at 9:47 p.m. "I'm serious. You owe Trevor $550. Don't make me get my lawyer involved." I stared at my phone, and then I remembered something. The cameras. 8 months ago, we'd had a problem with package thieves in the neighborhood. I'd installed a wireless security camera system. For cameras, front porch, driveway, backyard, and one in the living room aimed at the entertainment center where we kept expensive electronics. Sarah had approved the setup. "Good idea," she'd said. "I feel safer." The cameras were cloud-connected, motion-activated, and backed up to an app on my phone. I opened the app. I scrolled back to yesterday, to the time-stamp of the accusation. Trevor claimed I'd come home at 4:30 p.m., furious about work, and destroyed his Xbox in front of him. I'd actually gotten home at 5:30 p.m. My office building has security logs that would prove it, but I didn't need those logs. At 3:17 p.m., the living room camera captured motion. I hit play. Trevor walked into frame, alone. The house was empty. Sarah was still at work. I was still at my office 20 minutes away. He stood in front of the entertainment center for a moment, staring at the Xbox. Then he picked up the controller and threw it. Hard. It bounced off the console. He picked it up and threw it again. Then he grabbed the Xbox itself, lifted it above his head, and slammed it onto the hardwood floor. The video was 47 seconds long. His face was perfectly visible. The angle caught everything. The timestamp was clear, 3:17 p.m. There was no rage in his expression, no loss of control. He looked calm, calculated. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a breakdown. This was a setup. I watched the video 3 times. I took 6 screenshots, each one showing a different moment. Trevor holding the controller mid-throw, Trevor lifting the Xbox, Trevor's face as he slammed it down, the timestamp in the corner, the intact console before he touched it, the destroyed console after. I downloaded the full video to my phone. Then I uploaded copies to 3 different cloud storage accounts. I pulled up my work email and found the calendar invite for the 3 p.m. meeting I'd been in. I screenshot the office building security log showing my badge scan at 2:54 p.m. and my exit scan at 5:18 p.m. I had everything. At 9:14 a.m. the next morning, Sarah sent her 3rd text, last chance to do the right thing. Trevor is heartbroken. You're supposed to be the adult here. I didn't respond. I got in my car and started driving. I didn't go straight back to the house. First, I stopped at a coffee shop and organized everything into a folder on my phone. Video evidence. One 47-second clip showing Trevor destroying his own Xbox. Timestamp 3:17 p.m. Photo evidence. 6 screenshots showing the sequence of destruction. Alibi. Office security log. Badge scans showing I was at work until 5:18 p.m., 20 minutes away from home. Financial records. Original Xbox purchase receipt from 6 months ago. $549.99 charged to my credit card. Text messages. Sarah's 3 messages demanding I replace it, including the threat to involve her lawyer. I opened my Notes app and typed out the other 3 false accusations with dates. October 2023, Halloween candy. Proven false by work schedule. February 2024, phone charger. Found in his backpack. May 2024, bike scratch. Neighbor's kid confessed. I added a 4th line. July 2024, Xbox destruction. Video evidence of self-sabotage. Then I made a phone call. The divorce attorney answered on the 2nd ring. I'd looked her up that morning, booked the free 30-minute consultation. I explained the situation in under 5 minutes. Her response was immediate. Do you have children together? No. Good. That makes it clean. Document everything. Don't argue with her. Don't negotiate. Present the evidence once, state your boundary, and leave. She'll either accept reality or she won't, but you don't need to convince her. What about the false accusations? Save everything. If she tries to file a police report claiming domestic violence or property destruction, you'll have timestamped video proving it's a lie. That's huge. Most people don't have that kind of evidence. The call lasted 22 minutes. By the end, I'd made my decision. I wasn't going back to that house to live. I was going back to show them the truth and leave permanently. I spent the next hour apartment hunting online. I found a 1-bedroom place 3 miles away, available immediately. I filled out the application, paid the deposit, and got approved by 2 p.m. Sarah sent another text at 3:30 p.m. Fine. Don't respond. I'll file a police report for destruction of property. See how that works out for you. I saved the screenshot. At 6 p.m., I pulled into the driveway. Both cars were there. Sarah and Trevor were home. It was time. Update 1. I walked through the front door without knocking. Technically, I still lived there. Sarah and Trevor were in the living room. She was on the couch scrolling her phone. He was on the floor with a book, the picture of innocence. Sarah looked up, and her expression hardened immediately. So you finally decided to show up, she said. You've been ignoring my texts. I didn't answer. I just looked at Trevor. Hey, Trevor, I said calmly. Can you tell me exactly what happened with your Xbox? One more time. I want to make sure I understand. He glanced at Sarah, then back at me. You know what happened. You were there. Humor me. He sighed like I was wasting his time. You came home angry. You were yelling about something at work. I tried to stay out of your way, but you came into the living room and saw my Xbox. You said I played it too much. Then you grabbed it and smashed it on the floor. His voice cracked on the last part. I was scared. Sarah nodded along, her arms crossed. I heard it from upstairs. The yelling, the crash. Don't try to gaslight him. I pulled out my phone. What time did this happen? I asked Trevor. I don't know. Like 4:30? Right after you got home. 4:30 p.m., I repeated. And you were in the room when I did this? Yes. And you saw me smash it? Yes. I turned my phone screen toward both of them and hit play. The video started. No sound, just the living room camera angle. The timestamp in the corner read 3:17 p.m. Trevor walked into frame, alone. The room went silent. I didn't say a word. I let the 47 seconds play out in full. Trevor throwing the controller. Twice. Then lifting the Xbox and slamming it down. When the video ended, I looked at Trevor. His face had drained of all color. That timestamp is wrong, he stammered. The camera must be broken. I swiped to the next image. My office building security log. Badge scan in. 2:54 p.m. badge scan out. 5:18 p.m. I was at work, I said. 20 minutes away. I didn't get home until 5:30. Sarah stood up. Her mouth opened, then closed. Trevor's eyes were filling with tears. Real ones this time. Okay, Sarah said, her voice tight. Okay, so he broke it himself. But why would he do that? You must have done something to upset him. You must have said something, or provoked him somehow. I looked at her for a long moment. Keep your liar, I said. You just lost your husband. Trevor made a choked sound and ran out of the room. I heard his bedroom door slam. Sarah's face shifted from defensive to shocked. Wait. What? I walked toward the front door. You're not serious, she said, following me. You're going to leave over this? He's a kid. He made a mistake. This is the 4th time he's lied about me. The 4th time you believed him without question. I'm done. We can work through this. As a family. I stopped at the door and turned back. I already signed a lease for an apartment. I'll be out by Monday. Her expression cracked. You can't just leave. Yes, I said. I can. I walked out. Update 2. Sarah followed me to my car, her voice rising. This is insane. You're overreacting. I opened the driver's side door. She grabbed my arm. It was a misunderstanding, she said. We can talk about this. We can get family counseling. This wasn't a misunderstanding, I said, pulling my arm free. He lied to get me kicked out of the house. You believed him. That's not a misunderstanding. That's a pattern. A pattern? You're going to destroy our marriage over a pattern. You destroyed it the second you told me to get out without asking a single question. She stepped back, and I could see the gears turning in her head. The defensiveness was cracking into panic. What about the house? She said. I can't afford the mortgage by myself. There it was. The real concern. That's not my problem anymore, I said. You made it very clear it's your house. You can figure it out. What am I supposed to tell people? Tell them the truth. Tell them Trevor lied, and you chose him over investigating. Her face flushed. He's just a kid. He made a mistake. Sarah, I said, and my voice came out colder than I expected. Lying to get someone kicked out of their home isn't a mistake. It's calculated. It's manipulation. And you enabled it. Again. So what? You're just going to abandon him. He needs a father figure. He needs consequences, not another enabler. I got in the car. She stood there, staring at me through the windshield. I reversed out of the driveway and didn't look back. My phone started buzzing before I even made it to the main road. Text after text. Please come back. We can fix this. Trevor will apologize. I'll make sure he gets help. Don't throw away 3 years over this. By 9 p.m., I'd received 12 messages. I saved every single one in a folder, then blocked her number. I spent the weekend moving my things out of the house. I waited until Sarah was at work. I packed my clothes, my books, my laptop, everything that was mine. I left my key on the kitchen counter. No note. None needed. Update 3. Monday morning, I met with the divorce attorney I'd consulted on the phone. She reviewed the video, the text messages, Sarah's threats to file a false police report. Do you have children together? She asked. No. Then this is straightforward. The house is in her name from before the marriage, correct? Correct. And you have documentation of the separation catalyst. I showed her the video again. She nodded. File for legal separation. We'll document the false accusation in case she tries to weaponize it later. Judges don't like people who cry wolf about domestic incidents. I signed the papers that afternoon. While I was setting up my new life, Sarah was trying to control the narrative. 2 mutual friends texted me within 24 hours. Friend 1. Hey man, Sarah said you left her over an argument about an Xbox? That seems extreme. You okay? Friend 2. Heard you walked out on Sarah and Trevor. What happened? I sent them both the same thing. The 47-second video and 1 line of text. This is what she's calling an argument. Neither of them responded to me. But I later found out they both stopped answering Sarah's calls. Sarah escalated. She contacted Trevor's school and told the administrators I was no longer allowed to pick him up. The school called her back and asked for legal documentation of the custody restriction. She couldn't provide any. I'd never had custody rights in the first place. I wasn't his legal guardian. The whole thing was theater. Then she made the mistake of going public. She posted on Facebook something vague but pointed. It's amazing how some people will give up on family over material things. Guess I know who really cared. My best friend, Jake, saw it within an hour. His comment, lying to get someone kicked out of their home isn't material. It's abuse. 3 other people liked his comment. Sarah deleted the post 45 minutes later. The attorney called me on Thursday. Your separation will finalize in 90 days unless she contests it. Given the evidence you have, I don't think she will. And if she files a false police report, then you show them the video. Case closed. She never filed the report. 3 months passed. I didn't contact Sarah. I didn't contact Trevor. I focused on the new apartment, on work, on rebuilding routines that didn't involve walking on eggshells. But information has a way of finding you, even when you're not looking for it. A mutual friend, Lisa, texted me 6 weeks after I'd moved out. Just so you know, Sarah had to refinance the house. She couldn't keep up with the mortgage on her own. I didn't ask for details, but Lisa gave them anyway. She wiped out most of her savings on closing costs. She's working a ton of overtime now. Seems pretty bitter about it. I didn't respond, but I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not pity. Just distance. 2 weeks later, another friend mentioned that Trevor's Xbox was still broken. Sarah told him if he wants a new one, he needs to get a job. The irony wasn't lost on me. The same Xbox she demanded I replace at $550 was now his problem. Then the social consequences started catching up to Trevor. The 2 friends I'd sent the video to? They both had kids at Trevor's school. Teenagers talk. Word spread fast. By mid-September, Trevor had earned himself a reputation. Liar, manipulator, the kid who tried to frame his stepdad. I didn't spread the story. I didn't have to. The truth did it for me. Jake told me he'd run into Sarah at the grocery store. She tried to make small talk, asked how I was doing. I told her I wasn't the person to ask, Jake said. She looked like she wanted to say something else, but she just walked away. In October, Sarah made one last attempt at public sympathy. She posted in a private Facebook group for divorced parents, something about ungrateful stepfathers who abandon kids over small things. Someone in the group screenshot it and sent it to me. The comments didn't go the way she'd hoped. Is this the Xbox thing? Where your son broke it himself and blamed your husband? Girl, I heard about this from my daughter. That's not a small thing. Maybe don't post about it if the truth makes you look worse. Sarah left the group the same day. I never responded publicly to anything. I didn't need to. The truth was already out there, living in screenshots and videos and the memories of people who'd watched her choose a lie over a marriage. Meanwhile, my life stabilized. The apartment felt like mine. I hung artwork I'd always liked, but Sarah had vetoed. I set up my home office the way I wanted it. I started going to the gym again, something I'd let slip during the marriage. Old friendships rekindled. People I'd drifted away from during the relationship reached out, and I actually had time and energy to see them. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was just free. One Saturday afternoon, I passed by the old house on my way to a hiking trail. Pure coincidence. Wrong turn on a detour. The house looked exactly the same. Same paint, same front porch, same driveway. I didn't slow down. I didn't feel anything except a faint, distant curiosity. That wasn't my life anymore. I kept driving. 6 months after I walked out, the divorce finalized. I got the notification from my attorney on a Tuesday morning. Clean separation, no disputes, no custody issues because there were no shared children. The house stayed in Sarah's name. I walked away with my savings, my car, and my dignity. I sat with that for a moment. 3 years of marriage, over in 90 days of paperwork. But I didn't feel loss. I felt clarity. The marriage had taught me something I'd been too close to see while I was in it. Love without respect is just obligation. And obligation isn't sustainable. It's a slow drain that leaves you hollow. Sarah had never respected me. Not really. Every time Trevor lied, every time she chose his word over mine without investigation, she was telling me exactly where I stood in her priorities. I was funding my own disrespect, paying half a mortgage on her house, buying electronics for a kid who weaponized them against me, playing the role of the stable stepfather while being treated like a tenant who could be evicted on a moment's notice. The phrase "my house" should have been my exit cue years ago. I thought about the Xbox a lot in those early weeks. Not because it mattered, but because of what it represented. Sarah had demanded I replace a $550 console that I'd originally purchased, that Trevor had destroyed himself. That became the catalyst for ending a marriage. But it was never about the Xbox. It was about a 14-year-old learning that lies have no consequences, that manipulating adults is a viable strategy, that throwing someone under the bus gets you sympathy instead of accountability. Sarah wasn't protecting Trevor by believing him. She was destroying him. She was teaching him that reality is negotiable, that truth doesn't matter as long as you perform emotion convincingly enough. He's 14, old enough to know better, old enough to learn that actions have consequences. She did him no favors. I started dating again in November. Nothing serious, just coffee here and there with someone I'd met through a friend. Her name was Rachel. She was a teacher, divorced, no kids. On our third date, she introduced me to her friend as my partner. Not my boyfriend. Not just someone I'm seeing. Partner. It was such a small thing, but it hit me hard. I'd spent 3 years being called Sarah's husband, in a way that felt like an afterthought, like I was an accessory to her life instead of an equal in it. Rachel used the word partner casually, like it was the default, like equality was a given, not something you had to earn by proving yourself over and over again. That's when I knew I'd made the right choice leaving. Last week, I did something symbolic. I pulled up my bank records and found the original receipt for Trevor's Xbox. $549.99, charged to my card on January 14th, 6 months before he destroyed it. I donated $550 to a local youth mentorship program, one that focuses on accountability and decision-making for teenagers. The donation receipt went into my records folder right next to the divorce finalization paperwork. I titled it Closure, because that's what it was. Some people are anchors pretending to be family. They weigh you down with false accusations, with enabling, with a version of love that requires you to shrink yourself to fit their narrative. I cut the rope. Now I'm in my own apartment, with my own space, with people who trust my word and value my presence. I don't walk on eggshells anymore. I don't brace for the next false accusation. I don't check my tone to make sure I'm not giving anyone ammunition to twist my intentions. I just exist. Fully. Freely. The security camera that caught Trevor destroying his own Xbox is still active in my app. I haven't deleted the footage. I probably never will. Not because I need it anymore. The divorce is final. Sarah's out of my life. Trevor is her problem to raise or ruin. I keep it because it's a reminder. A reminder that truth matters. That evidence speaks louder than accusations. That sometimes the trash takes itself out, and all you have to do is hold the door open and let it go. I drove past the old neighborhood one last time a few weeks ago, completely by accident. Wrong turn on a detour. The house looked the same. Same porch, same driveway, same roof I'd helped repair 2 summers ago. I didn't stop. Didn't slow down. Didn't feel anything except mild curiosity and a sense of distance, like looking at a photo of a place you visited once but never really lived. That wasn't my life anymore. I kept driving, and I didn't look back.